Hello and welcome to Advanced Programming at Chapter 7, If, Then, and Case Statements using decision structures in code. This is, of course, the C++ version. You'll understand the basics of it from Visual Basic, which is true, but some of the syntax has changed, and some of the way the work has changed very slightly. Alright, so for our example, I have an if-else example, which I've set off using these asterisks here. And I also have a case statement, which is set off using this. I've also added a separate system pause, so we can actually pause what's going on in between each example so I can kind of explain it. So, I have to make sure that I have, there's my couts and cins, not a surprise. I've declared a float amount to deposit, and here's my syntax. If amount to deposit is less than 1,000, so I don't have it put in the then or anything along those lines, just if, and then what my values are. Curly bracket starts the beginning statement, curly bracket ends it, and then I do stdcout, considers this, else it considers this. The logic itself, and I added a few return lines, but the logic itself is no different than the Visual Basic if-then statement. Just the syntax is different. I'm not having to, and if my else if I wanted something indented, or embedded, like a nested if-then, or if statement, I would actually put that in between. But I've got these curly brackets to show ownership, where here's my if statement. If this proves true, the true part starts here, the true part ends here, and what it does is this. The true part starts here, the true part ends here, and what it does is this. So it's all outlined. Alright, and let's go ahead and run that real quick so you can see that example. I'm just basing it off of 1,000. So how much do you want to deposit to open the account? I'm going to do 450. You should consider it a free check account. You should consider the free check account. And then if I do 1,250, let's do 50, you should consider it an interest-bearing account. You should consider it an interest-bearing account. Not surprising. Okay, works exactly like it's meant to. Alright, let's close that. The next thing I want to talk about is the actual case statement itself. Once again, a little different syntactically, but it still works the same way as a switch case. Alright, so, select case in Visual Basic. So I have my, how do you want the order to be shipped? This is my option, and then I'm using numbers. Now, it gives you an example in the textbook where it uses a character. Case statements that use a character always seem to have some sort of issue. So if you can relate one of the selections to a number, that works much better for choosing the different values than it does for a character. So just kind of remember that. For instance, I could put a G here, I could put T here for today, and I could put O for overnight air. It seems to work smoother if I just take that option and make it a number. Select case deals with that much better. Letters, it seems to have some sort of issues with. So, here I go. I take in my values. I take in shipping method, which I've declared as an integer, and then I say switch ship method, case 1, the shipping cost is $5.05. Now you'll notice it kind of works the same way. I have a bracket that begins the statement. I have a bracket that ends the statement. I have case 1, very similar to Visual Basic. However, I have to put in this break. If you do not put in this break, it'll actually do this one, and it'll do this one. If I don't push in this break, it'll do this one and this one, and it gets really loopy, so to speak. So I want to make sure to put in a break, so it's only going to do one of those options. Once again, it is a fall-through logic, but the the break statement there, it stops it from doing the rest. So if I put in a 3, the shipping cost will be $10.32, and then it'll be done. It will not continue. You'll notice also your default is your case else, same sort of idea. If it's not 1, 2, or 3, it puts the shipping cost to 0. I could throw a message and say, hey, you made a mistake, you didn't enter the right stuff, whatever I want it to be. And then, of course, I print it out just so we're able to see the results, and I actually pause it after that. So Chapter 7, the main two structures here is an if-else, nested if-else, and the case statement itself. Once again, a lot of individuals who start this don't necessarily have, well, the book is geared towards individuals who are learning C++, who haven't necessarily taken other programming languages before, so it's kind of easy to run too, but you should at least be aware of the difference syntactically as you go through. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can post your questions to the discussion board, you can visit your resources, or you can go ahead and ask questions of the sub. Either way, we'll do the best we can to help you out. Thank you very much for your time. Have a very good day.